How we doing, friends? I'm up. My stream is up. That makes me very happy. I'm very happy to be here. If you don't know, this is Into the Night with Incomitatum. This is a special episode for me because I've been given another day on planet Earth. And so I need to sit and do some thinking. I've been doing a lot of thinking this morning. It's morning for some and not for others on this marble. I've been thinking about the unique problems that I have with my production that my friends are also having. Who am I? Well, today, I'm Incomitatum. I'm a personality. I'm put together with words. And because I don't have a webcam that I trust, because my other one is on fritz, this is who I am sometimes. A purple man. But mostly I'm an artist. An artist and a marketer. I'm someone who I sit at a nexus of, is this thing on and how can we make it work better? Yeah, that's a good nexus. That's not bad. But yeah, I hope that you find me to be curious. I hope that you find me to have better handwriting and all this. Curious. Partially the pen's fault, but I think that this is a good polarity. I hope that you see me as a guy who asks a lot of questions. Sometimes I'm very annoying by all the questions I ask. But I hope that you also see that I'm someone who has insights. Don't want to be seen as a know-it-all. But I do firmly believe that in all of our unique perspectives, as we are distilled down into what we think we are, we have little tidbits that we can share with each other. Kind of like I'm doing here before the show. Because these are some ideas that I've been trying to wrestle with. I heard some marketer recently keep saying you need to move the free line. I ascribe to some of her thinking. What are some things that we do in our business that we take for granted, that by sharing them with others in our ventures, business is a word I love with a capital B, like mind your own business. Mind your own business. But what are some things that we can offer for free? One of the things that I offered to a potential partner this week was my client questions. Why does that fucking matter? Well, because hopefully those are questions that, even if there's 2 questions in there that you never asked yourself before, hopefully you're asking them now. Yeah. So you're going to find me between curious and insightful, hopefully. We do have to say that all my productions are rated BS. There's some bullshit. And that's half the fun. That's exactly half the fun. Because we're going to reframe the way we think about some things. Uh, One of the things that I want to reframe how we think about today is this. What was that? That was an image from a friend of mine. He's a up-and-coming artist, and he's been sharing his art in all sorts of communities, and he was kind enough to join mine. And that's why today's episode is poorly named. We're going to see if the new dashboard lets us change the name of the episode midstream, because there are some places that I forgot to do that, just in the trying to get this bird in the air. Now, I'm joined by my buddy Moon. Sorry, Moon. Everything is just a little different at my computer and in Twitch land, so I'm trying to play catch up and learn a couple new things live today. That's what we're all here to do. Any of my friends, Moon is one of them, he could sit back and say that one of the things I try and preach about all the time, we're here to be lifelong learners. My sensei laid that down to me. I paid to go to college, and that was a mistake in some ways and not in others. And one of the things that I learned from this wise old man is he said, stay curious, but he didn't. He said some other stuff that I distilled into basically we're here to be lifelong learners. My buddy Moon is a lifelong learner, and I love that. Any partners of mine, people that I share my energy with, they're going to be people who are curious. They're going to be insightful. They're going to have integrity. They're going to have permission to fail. So as I'm learning the controls back here, I was about to give my buddy, what's his name, John E. Medlock. John Medlock. I don't know if he has a page. This production is thrown together. But this is his image. I liked the content. I like that it's risque. I like that he had the balls to do it. So I'm going to celebrate that about him. I've been thinking about doing some similar stuff. You know, in that noir vein. Some people could say, ooh, smoking. Yep, all right, I get it. But at the same time, you know, he's going for a specific look. He's probably trying to... I don't know nothing about him. I'm not trying to disparage him. But I would guess, because I pay attention to art tutorials on Instagram, that he might be slightly influenced by Angel Ganev. And his art is good, but even more importantly, consistent. So part of what I'm going to do today is he wants me to do a paint over. It's going to be untraditional. I'm going to do more of an art lesson using his ideas as a foundation, because it's some stuff that I need to talk through, and it's some stuff that all my artist friends need to learn, especially those who are getting into digital painting. So... I celebrate his art, and I've already talked to him behind the scenes. Normally, I wouldn't be the kind of guy. I think that it would be quite douchey to do a paint over somebody else's work. But he looked at my stuff and liked it enough, and I asked him if I could, and so, yeah, he's given permission. So, all of this is also to say, you know, this is a bit of a production, folks. I got my Japanese garden going back here. In fact, we're going to change vibes here. There we go. I like this one. And, you know, I got to get some coffee. I got to name this production right. I think I did it in the Facebook post that I haven't shared yet. Yeah, I'm calling this the Andrew Artist Outreach Hour. I like that. Sharing it. But in the stream info. Alright, and my buddy Moon, he says, speaking of learning, I learned how to drive an excavator the other day. If I remember to, Moon, when I get back, I'm going to Google what an excavator is. I think I have an idea, but, you know, part of my fans, I owe it to my fans and the fact that we are stuck together in imagination land to Google an excavator and help Moon build his story, because, yeah. Moon, thank you for being. You and I haven't talked in a while. You and I need to really play catch up. But a lot of the interactions that I've had by teaching you how to do some certain things, I want to bless you for. trusting me to walk you through, because now I'm trying to build a curriculum around doing that again and again and again for people. That's one of the reasons why today is going to have a weird tone. It's going to be a little hippie, it's going to be a little salesy, it's going to be a little businessy. Hopefully it's a lot of art. You'll notice I'm not playing music. I'm being a bad boy and getting my audio from somewhere I shouldn't today. But I'm also controlling my vibe. And this is what I want you to hear. And how am I coming through? I hope it's good for you. I have some Creative Commons music I'm going to put out. We'll probably play some music over the top of this cicada stuff, as though we're, in a perfect world, if I could teleport us all where I want us to go, we would be on my front porch, and I'd be talking to you about art. Presently, my front porch is very cold. I want my front porch to be very warm and foresty like this. Hopefully, this sends out a vibe for you. So, all right. So yeah, this is. Let us fix this. We were being silly with our titles last time, and our stream fell apart. But we're calling this we're calling this the knock crap off your desk hour. We're calling this Into the Night number 42, the Artist Outreach Hour. Some pretentious stuff to make it sound all official. Here we do it. All right. Today our music is actually beep, 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 beep. No visualizer. All right. Here we go. Pretty good, eh? I like the nature sounds, says my buddy Moon. Thank you, Moon. Presently, today's episode is brought to you by a big-ass bottle of Kikkoman soy sauce, because I can't find my tiny bottle, and we made some delicious something. Oh, it was chicken and rice and cheese. It was a casserole. Anyway, if you think that soy sauce on cream cheese is good when you eat sushi, you need to find an excuse to let some soy sauce touch some sour cream. It's very umami. Do that on your next Mexican dish. I love soy sauce. That's a tidbit from me. See, we're sharing all sorts of tips today. My computer seems to be running well, so I'm blessed in that regard. You never know what you're going to get. One of the things that I want to make today is a polarity of me. I'll picture it kind of like a big head. And, it's going to be a bit strange and, like, Lotus Vision, I don't know now, but, and then we'll have my arsenal. I have some ideas about that. Oh yeah. Presently my arsenal is my good vibes and the fact that I like socks. Socks keep you warm. I bet my friend Moon enjoys some good socks. Because he's an outdoorsy kind of guy. You got those thick wool socks, Moon, that keep your feet warm and wick the moisture away while you work outdoors in your beautiful vineyard. Hell yeah. If this is going to be a show about me celebrating my friends, if this is the last show I ever do, we're here for one night only, folks. I got to preach that stuff to my good friend John, and it resonated with him. And so sometimes you say some shit and you're not sure if it's real. That's part of the rated BS. That's part of why Richard Feynman says go out and teach. And when you do some shit like that, what's important is that you realize that, if it resonates with those people around you, then they got something from it. Hopefully you thought it was real to begin with, that it was true, that it was just. And so one of the things I'm about to do, if he's got it, oh yeah, look at these beautiful pictures. Look at these. Let me turn off my, these are going to look a little strange to you because I use an app to force dark mode, but the colors are almost the same. Golly. Now, is this just an early morning fog moon? Or do you also have forest fires going on in this area? Because I could believe both. Well, this isn't early morning. Look at where the sun is. So is this all forest fires? Yeah. Look at my friend Moon. Look at what he gets to see. Oh, it might not be forest fires. It might just be, fog. Fog doesn't have to be early morning in some places. Here, the only way we get fog is if it's really early morning or late at night. Most of the time. He lives in God's country, I tell you what. Look at this, look at this. And why do I get excited about that part of what I want to talk about today? Ding, 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 ding. All right. So part of what I'm talking about today also is my Into the Night Discord. I'm going to post this for my buddy Moon in our, Outliving Life channel. This is my buddy Moon, and he is outliving life. Now, why would I post this for him? Because I want to reference it. That's part of what I use my Into the Night board for. But I want to talk about it. It's the other reason why in other artists, see how this is similar? Why did I post this photo today? Similarities. What does this have to do with what I want to talk about? Well, today, when we get back from our break, which I hope to give you, let's only do the jazzy, loungy, dreamy stuff today. Let's only do that. We're looking for music. We're looking for jazz, lounge, dream. We're going to load that in the music player. And we're going to hit 8. Play. Play some sounds. Play music for me, computer. Do what I say. Play them. Play them. Oh, it did not like that. Here we go. That's what we needed. We needed... If we're going to sit on the front porch today, friends, we need something else. Just a little jazz to go with our Japanese garden. Let's mix that together. What do you think, Moon? Alright. Just fog clouds at 700 feet of elevation. Yeah, he's in that beautiful spot between the sea and the sky where there's fog. Alright. I need to go through and we'll take just a little bit of a break. We'll get you some BRBs over here as I do some stuff. This is Into the Night with Incomitatum. We're going to call this the Andrew Artist Outreach Hour because I'm going to do a paint over as we talk about contrast and value and planes of shade, planes of value. I got just enough knowledge to be wrong after this. Howdy, 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 folks. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm not quite back, but I am. I'm still gonna have to faff off for a minute. And then we're gonna get to drawing. But I also realized that I locked the music. And that's not cool. There we go. That's nice. And then I need to go all around the sound clouds. I need to go here. Yeah, watch me do my life, guys. Yay. But then I need to faff off again. This is John Medlock's painting that I'm using today. This is my buddy Travis. This is my gum road, which we will talk about. Alright. I'm also trying to manage my stream over here. I think I'll leave it on my Instagram while I'm on break. Yeah, let's look at my Gumroad presently. Hey Moon, did you get to see this thing? That I have a Gumroad store and that I'm selling prints of my artwork? Yeah, that's true. All this is art I made. All these are photos that I had to stage. Yeah. And then my buddy was saying that on mobile, some of these products get cut off. So I think what I'm going to do soon is no longer offer these. Yeah, things are going to have to be for a limited time, just like all of us. So, alright, well today I am going to a couple groups. Alright. And then I'm going to go to all these discords that I can. Privately. I'm trying to get my stuff together. Oh, I love this song. It's haunting. I have a post into off topic over here. Shows by friends. Yeah, I've done this 42 times. Can you believe that? Doesn't mean it's good. I'm just getting better at it. Arts and crafts. Yeah, here's part of what I'm going to be working on. I can show this to you guys. No, crowdfunding and promotion is where this goes. One more share. Can he get it in, folks? Can he get it in? He shared it to MeWe. He hasn't shared it to Instagram. Should he share that he has a Twitch show to Instagram? I don't know. Anyway, here we are. 0 viewers. Alright. My buddy Travis did get back to me, so we're going to blow up his Instagram. Guy in rubber suit. Well, I guess the technology kind of did what I wanted it to, but no. Thanks, Discord. Alright, here's his art station. And, you know, as the file gets bounced around, and I don't even care something of this quality, because this is still just gorgeous. I wanted to use this as kind of an antithesis to some of what I'm going to talk about John's painting today-ish. Yeah, so here's John's. He says he's not really anywhere. But my buddy Travis is over at Instagram.com/Travis Bolek. Guy in rubber suit over at Art Station. I mean, look at this. Man, look at that. Machete versus Wolverine. That's awesome. He did his backgrounds for his junkyard similar to how I did for one of my junkyard paintings, because who wants to paint all that? Yeah, just enough contrast to show you what's going on. Well done, man. Yeah, I dig this. This is a cool cat that I went to college with, so, you know, you make those connections. It's important to remember where you came from. This is fascinating. I love that. Like, oh, it's all cold and stay a while and listen. Be food for the grave worm. Yeah, the second piece in a series I'm calling Literal Band Names is based off the Italian Gothic metal band Grave Worm. Yeah, this is Travis. It seems like he's dressing for the job that he wants, which is painting awesome CD covers. So, alright. In fact, we're going to leave you looking at Travis's stuff for just a minute. Let's choose one. Let's choose this. Let's celebrate who Travis is today. Today, he's the dude who painted this recently. I'm going to leave you there while I take another break real quick. I need a BRB title. What can we get? Can we do this? Can we clone this thing? Copy. And then paste. I'm going to just paste a duplicate. Yeah, that's fine. And we'll just drag it down and say, we'll say something clever like BRB, right? But then we'll have to come through here and make the text huge. Where? I'm actually not seeing it. Where do you set the text? Oh, probably in select font. Probably in there. Okay. Oh, what do we want to say here? We want to reset. This is all very boring. I had somewhere I needed to be. And I've got 0 viewers. And we're going on 32 minutes, so that's fine. Something's going on and I don't care for it. That's the state of the world today, folks. Something's going on and I just don't care for it. Well, as it was, I have somewhere to be, and then I'll be right back. Hopefully, on Into the Night, number 42. The Andrew Artist Outreach Hour. Thanks for joining. Okay, I'm finally back. Bet you don't want to look at my dog forever. Well, he's not my dog, but you know what I'm trying to say. Alright, so this is Into the Night. I'll add another stream marker. Into the Night with Incomitatum, episode 42, the Andrew Artist Outreach Hour. What is any of that about? Well, Andrew's somebody who likes to make art, and he's tried to make making art a bit of his living. And so I've been blessed to use the skills that I've been given and the partnership with my buddy at Geeks Worldwide and the connections that we have to set up this store for you guys and share some of my art. Everything's limited because we've only done so many prints. If there's enough demand, we might bring it back. This one seems to be a favorite. Can we zoom out a little? Center that better. There we go. That's something I made. Alright. Yeah, a little bit of a roving commercial for myself, I guess. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to seem so flighty. Not bad for a little commercial, though. Okay, yeah, here we are. And my buddy... Where is his stuff? Got a lot going on right now. Yeah, that's an older picture of me. Anyway, cool guy. John. He is, I'm gonna do stuff with this later. He has this picture. And I know that he knows that it didn't come out quite the way that he wanted it to. And despite what you think about the subject matter, I think it's quite alluring. I like who he was trying to reach. I can see some of his influences. And he has kindly said that I could use this to talk about. You know, I'm not going to do a paint over like I'm better than him, because I think, first of all, that's dumb. And second of all, yeah, because I'm not. But I can use this as a foundation to talk about how I think and how I would approach this. One of the things that I found alluring about this is that he does this isometric perspective kind of thing as something that I want to do. Look at this here. Yeah. Look at how everything, you know, sits at these very proper angles. I like that for this piece. And this isn't meant to necessarily be a critique. But, I want to block in the scene real quick as I talk about what I'm seeing here. I like the idea of these blankets. Part of reference is just studying cloths and folds more. So let's get specific, because, I'm here to show you that I'm going to start blocking in these kind of things. I'll do it cleanly here in a second. But actually where I want to go the cleanest is here. And I don't know if he's using photo reference or if he's photo bashing. The more I zoom in on some of this, I don't know if it's a paint over or a 3D model or if he's really painting that. But one of the things that I've been trying to teach others and that I'm trying to follow as I work on something like, excuse me for the banging, as I work on something like this, you gotta start big and blobby. So give me just a second to talk while I come in here and, just get the idea of her down. Because again, I'm not here to recreate his picture today. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in using the idea of his picture to talk about contrast and value and making choices. It's something that we talk about quite a bit in all of our learning. But I think that it's important that if you're going to, for no reason have I just started making her some cyberpunk chick, but what I'm trying to do is visualize the bones in this. And yeah, I'm going a little bit quick because I don't want to bore you. If I'd thought about it, then maybe I would have done this sooner. But what really matters is that we just get a couple foundational lines on every piece as though she's literally made of plastic or wood. Because what I care about her is the shapes that go into making her up. The curve of her. Why do I care about that? The reasoning behind that is, he's done a good job here. And again, I don't know if he photo bashed or what. In fact, that's too big. But as I build heads, I come in and I find an eye line and the nose line. And they said something about the nose from the center. Yeah, they said the back of the head is as far back as the ear. So the nose and the ear, that's something I learned in a tutorial recently. I don't know if it's true. Yeah. And, the other thing that I'm doing right now, tracing this, is not bad. Other people, foundational learners, should do some shit like this too, so that they can see these landmarks. If I was going to draw this chick, ideally I would have come down, see the head, then I would have done another head, that puts me here, another head, and then I go, okay, well, if her nose is here, as I turn this off, if her nose is here, that's normally a collarbone from the chin. See that width right there? It's a trick I learned somewhere. Either I saw it or I picked it up. Yeah. Now I need to get better at necks, but see, the collarbone thing is true, and I'm actually going to defer to his construction. I'm not here to necessarily fix anything that he did, and in some ways I'm learning. That's my favorite part about being alive. I can distill my entire life and my lifelong learning thesis down into that right there. Why am I a social creature? Why am I technically the bard in the party? And why do I get a kick out of that? Because I want to talk to people, man. I want to hear about your day. I want to hear about the crap you're struggling through. I want to give you some of my perspective, and maybe if we talk and we say the right words, we'll see a solution that both of us never considered. And some of the bullshit in your life will start to move ahead, and some of the bullshit in my life will start to break through. That's what partnership should be. How can we amplify each other's light, our signal, our noise? Yeah. And then one of the reasons I'm putting these bands on here is so that we have an idea of how these parts are turned. A torso is normally as wide as a head to the shoulder. See, I would have drawn this out here. because I'm not smart sometimes. And then if a head's a head, and then we come down to here, and we add another head for the ribs. And here she actually might need to come in a little bit. And here she actually might want to have a little bit more of a butt. I don't know. And I'm trying to picture her without clothes for a very good reason. Let's get this shape here. Dink. And people are like, oh, well, the subject matter is very adult. And it's like, I keep telling little dudes that, unfortunately, you got to draw a lot of breasts wrong before you learn how to draw them right. Or you got to say, I'm never going to draw them ever. And we're not just talking about breasts. I mean, one of the things that we can do is put these volumes here and say that they roughly hang. Now, how do the muscles actually work? How are they wired across this breastbone? How should her ribs come up into here? Kind of like she's wearing stormtrooper armor. I mean, it's not a slight or oversimplification to say so. But yeah, we'll just put in the idea of those. How's this looking? Enough that we can work from it? Yeah. Let me go in with a hard round brush. And again, I'm just going to come over here and block in this seam. Boop. With full opacity on. Yeah, poop. Bam. Bam. Thick lines. That's almost too thick. I mean, I say I don't care, but I guess I do. So what am I doing today? Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I fully believe that, to some extent, the stuff that Richard Feynman has to say about you having to teach so that you can be a better learner is true. So, you might also see it as flexing nuts. It's like, do I really know this? Am I willing to be vulnerable and talk about this stuff on camera? And it turns out that I don't know it? I have a preclusion right now to use very up and down straight lines. It looks like he didn't map this exactly isometrically, and that's okay. That's certainly all right. If I were to do it in 3ds Max, I would get the exact perspective, because sometimes that's how I cheat. And then if I want to distort it, then I'll use a lens distortion in Photoshop. I'm going to set this down for a reason. Alright. Oh, and let's get the window in here too. The idea of the window, at least. Let's give it some thickness, as he has. There we go. Alright. None of the things he has done are wrong. And in fact, if I didn't really like this, I wouldn't have the courage to talk about it. Because I really do. And in fact, he had the courage to say, hey man, I want some critiques. I'm like, well, what would I do differently if I was going to paint this? Everything that I want to talk about is contrast, and I want to formulate a better lesson around this. But let's imagine you had nothing. Or better yet, let's imagine you had everything. And you got bored by everything, so you decided that you needed some nothing. How much is really going to be up to you. But by having some nothing in your everything, you now have two things. And one of the things you have is luxury, because you have choice. You can choose where there is nothing and where there is some everything. When you do this contrast, you instantly are going to end up with a horizon. And in fact, if I invert it, that's a way of seeing it too. My buddy Hensel does some very high contrast art, where these can be trees, see? And, you know, I use the word baby shit a lot because I'm awful. I'm trying to use the word sophomoric more. But, when I show this to people, they giggle like I'm an idiot, and because they're slightly embarrassed. And I'm calling them out in that way because it's okay. But this seems so sophomoric. This seems magical. Oh, he can just paint with two colors and it looks good. You can too. So this is how the monkey brain. You know, there's another dichotomy. The monkey brain versus the lizard brain. And so we're supposed to see patterns. What does this have to do with art, man? Well, this is very important because this is how we decide what's cool. You know, this is why some art seems abstract. But you know what I saw some dude do the other day? He made the most beautiful art. And I don't even know if it was a he, I'll be honest. But he laid down something, and then he just went to town, painting in the ideas of things. If I make the idea of some of those things smaller. So this is the kind of shit that takes experimentation and ends up being fun. And those paintings that dude has done, he probably did 1 million of those before he finally had the balls to show them off. Why would I say something like that? Well, because it's hard to have self-esteem in this stuff that you do. But yeah, we come in here and make this real hot. Real hot. Real pink. Yeah. Painting with bokeh. Primarily. What does it say? To paint such a thing like this. Did I get off in the weeds? Sometimes I do. But it's okay, because I have 0 viewers, and part of living my life is having peace with that. But I hope that you saw how I built that up. I built it up from contrast. Like I was just saying, you got nothing and everything? Let's go back to my friend's picture here. See? No. Actually, let's go to this real quick. Before I think I effed it up. Let's walk back as much as we can. It was just mostly a horizon. Alright, that's as far back as I can go. But let's look at this. Now, we're going to do a wiggle test. We blur our eyes, kind of, and we end up seeing where are our eyes drawn to. The home viewer can probably do this just a little bit better if I shut off. If I shut that off. All right. Now what if, excuse me, what if I come here, and I like to do everything non-destructively. What if I come here and I grab hue saturation, and I turn the saturation down to nothing. No saturation. Where's your eye drawn the most? Well, the brightest spot is here-ish. Let's crunch this and see what's true. See the brightest brights, the darkest darks. As we crunch it, we're going to get black and white. As we trend towards the hottest area in our picture, this is it. So your eye is kind of drawn to this contrast, making this an acceptable picture. And your monkey mind is trying to figure out what this looks like. I've seen something like this in, like a city skyline in a bokeh effect. Let's do another version of this. Let's do a version of why I would bring up in Discord. Why I would bring up this image. Let's copy it. Let us copy it, and then we will paste it. Paste, paste, paste. Did it not copy? Let's go back. Let's go back. Open the original. Copy the image. Dang nabbit. I need to drink more of my coffee, by the way. So again, my master thesis is everything is contrast. That applies to storytelling, writing, art, life, everything. Everything. You have to suffer to learn how to enjoy not suffering. Some bullshit. It's shitty that that's the way that it is, but sometimes that's how it be. Yeah, I mean, if we go into the real empathy of who I am, if I slap out some word vowels real quick, then people will not be happy. People will go, oh, that's who he is? Yeah. It is by days like this, and will alone, that I'm holding my sanity together. My body is not my friend. So what's the contrast of that? Make a joyful noise. Go to great places with your friends. Live a life of experiences worth living. Share your weird light however you can. I saw a post today that made me sad because I'm seeing a trend amongst my friends. They're getting older and their parents are passing away. And they're like, man, I wish that my dad or my mom had more time. They just didn't get enough time, man. And the shitty thing is, in most cases, they absolutely did get enough time. Absolutely did. They don't want to be rebuked in this time where they're vulnerable and they feel like circumstance stole their parent away. They don't. And that's shitty that they even have to be in that situation. But because we all are going to have that story, or, that is an oversimplification, but most of us have parents and are going to lose them in our lifetime. You have, what's better, instead of saying, oh, they didn't have enough time, It's saying no, our priorities were mismatched. Or what's even better is saying the machine instilled the wrong priorities in you. Because you probably had enough time, they probably had enough time, but you know, you're always chasing that. You know, it's as I become even more of a hippie, it's that beautiful Cats in the Cradle song. That's a tale as old as time. So yeah, I came across this as some article. My buddy Moon has this beautiful scenery that he captured, and I don't know if he filtered it up or not. But I want you to see it. If I can talk to my buddy John, if I can put a marker and talk to John specifically, here's what I want you to see, friend. When you do digital painting, I talk a lot now about lab color. There's a couple of different ways to do this, but most of your applications have this built into them. If you're going to do painting, if you're going to do Photoshopery, and I'm going to teach you the shorthand for this too, because it absolutely works with acrylic and oil painting. It does. But think about when you're going to paint something, what is your brightest bright and your darkest dark? One of the ways that you can do that is, in fact, let's run a posterize filter on this and say we want to treat it like an old Super Nintendo game. We want 16 colors out of this. Look at that. In fact, let's clamp it down just a little more and say we want 12, 9, 10. A lot of the colors in this, a lot of the variation, is actually in the sky. This is noise down here. I'll tell you more about that later. But if we came into this, we have our palette is not all around the place. You get to limit yourself. Let's do it here. I might not be a good teacher. But yeah, you can still express the same idea in a limited palette. And well, the reason why I bring that up is because when I build my palettes, I think about what do I want my brightest bright to be? Or what am I talking about? Do I really want the entire range in my photo between white and black? Sometimes not. Or am I painting? Yeah. So here, our friend has gone for moody, and he's done a good job. Let's fade this out. And we're going to talk about where his light is coming from. One of the easiest ways to do that is to just turn on an all black layer. Now his light coming from nowhere. And you can cut this out. Our buddy has a light coming from over here for some reason that he chose. And the light that's on her. And so the other thing that you might do immediately is do similar to these skylines. Yeesh. My pin is wigging out, folks. I'm sorry about that. Let's get these shapes down real quick. In fact, I think I know a quicker way. Should. Anyway. Yeah, thank goodness. I'm not going to talk through what I just did because it's complicated. Something is not right in my paint program. Oh, this is set to overlay mode from a long time ago. Bummer. Anyway, I want to celebrate this. I want to separate this into planes. If we turn his painting back up, we can or should have another plane. Treat it like down in here. Something dimensional of where we want to control how light is tossed around. And so then we also have a plane here. I'm just going to include most of this. For some reason. And we've got a plane here. Now what does any of this matter? You'll see that for now I'm not very precise. Because I've no need to be. Now let's turn off everything. Let's even turn off this. Keep our lines here, but you know, now we're doing shading. So let's shade her in. And again, we were saying that we want a background that is black. Well, we need to be able to control how bright things are. How bright is it outside? I want to show you that very idea using his painting. Forgive me that it's taking a while for me to get set up. Ah, jeez, this song is real, you know, raucous. Alright, here we are on a Thursday. Nope, it's not my normal Thursday. Here we are on a Tuesday evening. And I'm trying to do a paint over of my friend's art. One of the reasons why I have these shapes is to show you the different amount of control you have. This is real bright. Look at this contrast. With that amount of contrast, you would expect the room to get brighter. But you could have it real dark and real bright outside. And you'll know that you're not getting brighter than white because I started at gray. So what if this were white? Most people start their paintings on a white background, and that is enough to damn their eye into thinking wrongly. So, the first thing that I've also seen my buddy do, let's look at our creations. Ding, ding, ding. I'll show you some of his art. Here's some of my art that I showed in contrast to his as I get to thinking about shapes and planes. Now, this is wonderful. Look at that. But everything is real soft. Whereas my buddy Travis, everything is real hard. And the contrast is that you get to choose. You get to decide where you want hard and soft lines. See? Here's something else he did. I really like this one. It's kind of like the way that we have this ambient light. And he gets that idea because you want there to be a bit of a sphere. Let me do that here. You want there to be a little bit of a light sphere. You want to decide presently, where is that? At present, you would do something like this. And see how you get to have your hards and your softs together. Yeah. This is important to our friend because of the way that all of this gets rendered. So instantly, if we break his thesis down to this, the next bit is maybe masking this. What if this here were a shape instead? And what if this here were going from, well, not white, because that's no fun. That's 50% gray, so we'll just stay there. So then his options are 50% gray and less for the rest of the picture, if this is where the brightest light source is coming from. That's fine. Let's make it just a little bit less because we're seeing that outside blown out, but we're not going to see it in the windowsill. So we'll come down and make it 45. So now 45 to black. 45% gray to black. What's that look like? Yeah. In the darkest part of his picture. Maybe we already know that we want the darkest part to be down here. This is not a fair representation because immediately, as we turn these back on, yeah, let's do that again. Yeah, it's not the worst, though. And this might be similar to what he did. How did his turn out? Well, we can check with an overlay layer. We can check with a lighten layer. Yeah. See, already our friend has chosen a complex subject. And so, in crafting your contrast, he gets to choose. And it's why I wanted to pick this, of all things, to kind of study. You know, this isn't necessarily a critique of his work. We're both going to get better by looking at this. You know, what would I have done different? Here are all the different panels and layers. All the different planes. Here are all the different ways that we're going to keep controlling contrast. Definitely want to cut that window out. Because the other thing is, if you can see it, I'm building on top of this. So we've already said that all of our color is going to go from here to here. So, well, how do we make that different? Well, now this is going to be a little darker. That's a little bit darker. Well, this is a little bit darker. This is the kind of stuff that he was doing. Yeah, he's doing a good job of it. It's a little bit lighter. But then this is going to be darker. This is going to be probably a lot darker. Or we leave it not so much darker and make this super dark. Or do we leave this not so much darker like he did? See, he had a bright light source here and here. And what I might have done on top of his painting, I can still use this. And in fact, in some ways, I only have this as it is so that I can keep seeing it. So let's make it mostly white. We want it to stand out. We want it to be in contrast of. Trying to make these lines super dark. So already, I want us to think about contrast. This is an alright palette. Why did I leave this area this way? It's hard for me to think about presently, to be honest. And in addition to, this should be super dark, right? But see, that's where you start to see your mistakes, and that's okay. I think that rendering as an art is really just analysis and refinement. I mean, earlier you saw me go from that to that. Actually, you saw me go from that. You need to go from that to that to that. Or the other way around, however you like. So then how did we get here? Well, I'm going to put our lines here. Then we went from this to that. And then we threw in the idea of this. Now that's a lot of shades. That's a lot of shades. So let's back off for a minute. Let's go back down to like the construction paper, just the different planes of this image. This is not 50 shades of gray. This is only just a few different shades of gray now. And while a bit abstract, this is the idea that he is going for. Mostly. I think the other thing I need to do is then, when we lay over this, what I call this, I get from the idea of theater, and you can do this at the end too. Watch, come up here. Instead of having it down underneath all your opacity layers, put it up on top and set it to overlay. I call it a gel. It's very much like, see then that's even darker. Overlay works based on the principle of 50% gray. So the things that are 50% gray are going to be nothing, not affected. Got 50% gray on your overlay layer, it's not going to do jack. This is what you want. Because above 50% gray, it's going to make things brighter. Below 50% gray, it's going to make things darker. Here we go. See, this is me. In my gradient is just 50% gray to black. Let's turn on our lines again and do this. Choose where the light comes in. And in fact, if I want to do this well, look, here's my mask. I'm saying that my mask should affect all of these areas. What if I said no to that? What if I came up here, and because this is a bit of a window, said, no, my mask is only going to affect certain areas. I'm trying to figure out what those areas should be realistically. Let's say it's this. We still... yeah. It would go off the edge of the bed some, so... you have to think three-dimensionally, which is a real SOB. Alright. So here's our overlay layer. And let's say that all of this is now... everything that isn't this is now black. There we go. So that's a little bit of an inverse of what we wanted, right? No. We just want to do a couple things. We either want to turn this to screen. Not in this case. We want to do the inverse of this on the overlay. Now let's do white to gray. What is white to gray going to do? Well, on an overlay, white to gray is going to do this. Remember, it's going to make things brighter.